the law. We were trying to define the law in our previous class. Uh, why do we need to understand the definition? Uh, because of the fact that I am not just trying to explain to you the contemporary definition or the definition which is conceived by the lawyers or the judicial side of the society, but I wanted to have a larger spectrum in front of you. What is a spectrum? Combination of a lot of things, different colors produces spectrum, a canvas, like a canvas. Okay, now I wanted to enlarge the spectrum of this discussion so that it involves your personalities also. There are certain laws that you apply on your own selves also, as I was discussing yesterday as well. You see, these are all laws that our mind creates for us. According to that, we live our lives. Everyone has laws. There is no human being, there is no living being on earth that does not act according to certain laws. There is no human being, there is no living thing. There is no non-living thing even. Even a cube has a law, has its laws. You know what is a cube? You know what is a cube? So having 90-degree angles makes it a cube, right? So that is a law which makes it a cube. So what is a law? It is a rule, it is a principle. Now somebody asked me the question in itself, someone who asked and he is absent, that the difference between principles and laws. Now what I was telling you, when it comes to individuals like you and me, we have to go through certain experiences in our lives. We make friends, for example. I had a friend for a long period of time. I was always good with him. He was always good with me. But one day, when a time of test came, where he was supposed to stand with me, he ran away. Now, what principle will my mind make for me? You can't trust anyone. This is one principle that I will make. Out of what? How have I made this experiment? How have I made this law for myself? Through experience. Okay. Now, are the laws or the principles which are made through experience absolutely correct all the times? No. Right? So there are these laws and principles. They're not absolute. None of it is. They are only good for certain period of time. They may give you an illusion of safety. Illusion of safety. There would still be someone who will deceive you, even if you do not trust anyone. Because the downside of not trusting anyone is, what is the downside of not trusting?
Missing out the honesty.
People don't trust you. Because you think you are not trusting them. They also feel it. They also come to know. So the downside is, when you do not trust anyone, they will also not trust you. So what to do then? What kind of principle I should have? Now these are the problems that these principle making abilities produce. So principles in general are made by people through their experiences. We have certain policies in school. Okay, for example, I have made a policy today that anyone who is absent more than 2 times in a month in my class, I will call their parents. I will talk to them personally. Now this is a principle, a policy. How have I made it? What experience? I saw that some of the students were getting off and on like blips whenever they choose. They are not really bothering about what they are going to learn or anything else, but they are just doing what their mind is telling them. to do. So I needed to create an obstacle into this. So for that I needed a principle, and that is how I made the policy. Now, is this policy right or wrong, or do I need to modify it? The time will tell. We will do it in practice. So these are the difference between the laws and the principles is that the principles are generally created through experience. Laws are also created through experience and experiment. But the principles are at a lower level, the lowest level, where the individuals are concerned. Individuals make principles for themselves. Individuals make certain policies for themselves. That is why it is said, honesty is the best policy. What does it mean? It means honesty is our best principle, for example. Policy and principle. So you see, when you make those such principles, you start becoming mature. For example, I made a principle with me in my life that I will never leave my clothes hanging in the washroom. This is a small thing. ये बहुत छोटी सी बात है. But until and unless I do not make the principles for myself, I will not learn. ये दुनिया का असूल है. So make principles for yourself instead of others making things. जैसे माँ बाप नहीं कह रहे होते छेती सोया करो, मोबाइल छड्डो, इधर नहीं जाना, ऐ नहीं करना, ओ नहीं करना. Now what are they doing basically? They are trying to make laws and principles for you. Why are they doing it? Because that creates discipline in your life. So the basic purpose of all laws and principles and statutes and rules and regulations is to create balance, to create that environment where people flourish through discipline, right? So that is why these things are required. So you should also make principles for yourself. The earlier you make, the better. जितना जल्दी ये अपने लिए असूल बनाने सीखोगे, उतना अच्छा होगा. It would be good for you because you'll grow mature faster. जल्दी maturity आने लग जाएगी, समझ आने, maturity of mind basically. वो आपको जल्दी समझ आने लग जाएगी. और असूलों पर अच्छा, then you see, these are your personal principles. They are not divine principles. They are not divine laws that they can't be changed. They can be changed, they can be altered in certain situations, in some circumstances, but they still become your guiding pathway. They make a path. ये आपके लिए एक रास्ता क्लियर कर देते हैं इस chaotic life में. ये जो आपके रोजाना सुबह शाम इधर भाग उधर जाओ, क्लासेस पढ़, स्कूल जाना है, एकेडमी जाना है, पढ़ना है, फलाना करना है, गेम भी खेलनी है, दोस्तों से भी मिलना है, and there are a lot of things. There is a chaos going on. So जब आप असूल बनाना शुरू करते हैं तो आप अपनी लाइफ को डिसिप्लिन में लाना शुरू करते हैं. और ये जो रास्ता असूल बनाने वाला है, ये आपको मैच्योरिटी देता है. ये आपको वो सेंसिबिलिटी देता है जिसमें आप अपने राइट और रॉन्ग का फैसला अपने हाथ में लेते हैं. When you consciously start deciding what is right for you and what is not. जब आप होशमंदी से, अकलमंदी से ये तय करना शुरू कर लेते हैं कि मेरे लिए क्या सही है और क्या गलत है, और फिर आप उसके मुताबिक अपने लिए असूल वज़ा करते हैं, then you make principles for your life, and then your life becomes disciplined. What discipline does is that it gives you calmness, it gives you peace, it takes you out of the chaos. वो उस अफरा तफरी में से आपको निकाल लेता है. It gives you steadfastness, ठहराव देता है. It gives you strength, मजबूत करता है आपको. There are a lot of things that it does to your life. So this was about principles. We will gradually climb upwards. Today I talked about a little bit about the individual's role in making the laws for themselves. Now from this onwards we will go to the family, then to the society, and then a country, and then at the global level, and then the divine laws and principles. So this is how we will progress through the coming days. If you have any question, please ask.